I have to say, Elodie, when I interviewed Martha and Sean, they said, "Oh, we've seen that look from Elodie before."
I think it's probably true.
Honored to speak with all three of you. But Elodie, tell me a little bit more about what this season is like for you in terms of themes and intensity and what fans can expect.
Well, I thought last year that, these ladies didn't spare me with story and, going for it and fighting for my own life and my son's life. Well, this year they've added on a few things to my plate, and really Thony is fighting for her family. So they've amplified the stakes really. So my days are full of like, let's go and solve problems and fight through, and go through the motion. It's pretty intense, Ron. It's pretty intense.
Well, that's very exciting. I mean, the first season was pretty intense and the finale was extremely intense. So we're all excited. Miranda, nice to see you again. Congratulations on being elevated to showrunner. Very excited to see that news. What, from your perspective, were your goals for season 2?
Well, I thank you, Ron. I appreciate that, and appreciate, of course, all the support from everyone, cast and crew, and Melissa through it all. The goals for season 2, I mean, we are striving to really create the same kind of intensity as Elodie was saying. Really, push her a little further, against it, and force her to make hard choices or harder choices. Things are a little different when her son is now better, but of course there's other issues that are going to happen, other situations that she's going to face that force her to make hard choices. And they're not always the best choices. That's the problem when you start to, get lost in this criminal world is that starts to influence you. And because of that, one not so great choice leads to more issues and more situations and more bad choices. And so, I think Thony is struggling a lot this season and trying to figure out herself and where she's landing, in this world.
It's so interesting. Can I just jump in for a second? Because Miranda, you come from like maybe a writer point of view, and you just said bad choices. But for me, coming from from an actor angle, I can never, Ron, never judge her choices, but they do feel harder choices than last year, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, like, what do you do? And sometimes there is no good choice. And so sometimes it just ends up being a choice that's it's not what you would want to do, but it's what the best choice you can make in the moment.
Mm.
And that resonates, I think, with a lot of people, because so many people are struggling in life and are often forced between not great decisions, and we're all just trying to survive. I feel like desperation is an overall theme in the show. And so, Melissa, how do you take that idea of balancing bad or just difficult choices, but making sure that the characters are still relatable and that we still cheer for them?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that even though Luca, his life was saved last season, and that all the tough choices that Thony had to face in order to get medical help for Luca, that we didn't completely take that away. So one thing that we discovered in our research is when you have an organ transplant, you forever need anti-rejection medication so that the body doesn't reject that new organ. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people know. You think, oh, you get a new liver or kidney and then your life is saved, but you forever need that medication, which is very expensive. And Thony is still undocumented. She still doesn't have health insurance. The medications are still very expensive. And so making that first choice to stay in the country, even after Luca gets better, she'll still need this medicine to keep Luca safe and well, which for her means another criminal choice, another way to keep going down that path. That's, even though it's difficult, it's still for her son. And then what we also did this season, which is something that's delicious and fun, she's got this great bond with Fiona, but Fiona starts to become aware. The family becomes kind of enmeshed in some of her criminal choices, because it is a matriarchal family. These two women are together raising their children. And so we start to blur those lines, that when it was just Thony making the decisions that she needed to keep her and her son safe, now when it's the whole family, those choices get harder and harder. And I think we are building to, well, not think, we are building to a reckoning where Thony has to really look at, was it worth this? Were all these choices worth the effort? Obviously, she wanted to save her son, but to stay in this criminal world, she really comes to an impasse that we're going to explore, so that we're just not brushing over the morality of her tough choices.
That sounds just so honest, so realistic. We all think we have this one goal, like saving Thony's son, but then, like you said, that's not where it ends, just with the transplant, or just there's a lifelong process, even in real life. And I think I like that the show is going to tackle that. Elodie, Melissa just talked about Thony and Fiona, and I love the dynamic between you and Martha. Could you talk a little bit about your relationship and how it's grown since season one?
Yeah. I think we feel like family, with Martha. And it was like this from day one, the moment we met, and she was auditioning on Zoom, and we were just exchanging this way. So we first met creatively, in the space of an audition. Then we met for real, and I don't know, it just felt instantly. I mean, I'm not going to mention this anecdote and what I said that day, but she reminded me what I said that day in the van when we just had this scene together. She was like, okay, well, I guess it's just going to be chill between you and I, and we're just going to be like very open about everything. And it feels like it with Mom. I think that really, we're lucky when there's a chemistry between actors, so that's given. This is just the way, and that just adds to this relationship between those sister-in-law. So I don't know. This year, I guess we are exploring also some, like sisters, more frictions, because the situations where Thony and Fiona's are in extreme and intense, and so we are bonded together. But there's also some, frictions that are going to happen. It's very interesting for us as actors to explore this as well. I'm very excited for you guys to see what's happening for this for their relationship, because this, to me, it always felt from season one to be this mother love, like this is the heart and the soul of this show, and it gets more intense and complex in the season we're doing now. So I'm excited for you guys.
It definitely feels like that relationship is really the core of the show, and I'd love to look how it's going to evolve. Miranda, I really enjoyed being able to follow you speaking on various panels and events, and of course the show is just really important for Asian American representation. How has it been for you in terms of the feedback and response from the Asian American and especially the Southeast Asian community?
Oh, the feedback has been incredible. I mean, honestly, it's been overwhelmingly positive, and I think if nothing else, like we've created a show where we've put these voices and these faces on screen that people can actually relate to and connect with, and to see themselves, playing, roles like this is exciting. When we talk about representation and what that means, and, normally you never have, somebody like Elodie be able to play a role and to dig into these tough moral choices and to get into this crime world. This is a heightened reality, but with some real genuine characters. And I think that's what people connect with, and they really can see the heart of both Thony and Fiona and their struggles and what they're going through. So, so much positive feedback, people reaching out even to say thank you. It's amazing that you're using the name Della Rosa, and my family, loves seeing that. My parents would be in tears if they saw that. So, there's so much of that. And every time, honestly, every time somebody says, thank you for putting the show on the air and actually representing us, it makes me want to cry. And often they're crying and I'm crying, and then it's a mess.
I love that. Last question for you, Melissa. I love that the show's adding Naveen Andrews to the show. Huge fan of his performance. What can audiences expect from him and his character?
So we really wanted to have an unexpected big bad of the season. We knew that that we wanted to shift the crime world and shift the dynamics of our characters. And so we wanted to have this unexpected. He's the biggest loan shark in Vegas, and he funds criminal organizations all across the West. So we say he's the ATM to criminals. He's their ATM. So, but we wanted to really embrace his intelligence, the fact that he's British. We love to use the DNA of every actor that comes to us and really write for their strengths and talents. And when we saw him in The Dropout, who played, he's essentially a very complex Sunny Balwani. He brought this really dark, sinister edge that was so surprising. And we really wanted to take a little bit of that intelligent villain where he was completely unexpected and a little bit psychotic, and you just unpredictable, so that you felt that whenever Thony is in a scene with him, that you felt that fear for her, and that it's always great when you have a villain whose intelligence can match that of your lead characters, so that you never know how that it's going to end. You never know that if you're going to get outsmarted, outwitted, and that you're really hoping that they come out of it alive. So that's what
That's my hope.
Really, as you will. We want to go 7 seasons with you. But yeah, no, he's just exudes such wicked intelligence that we really wanted to bring that DNA into his character, and we have. So
wonderful. Well, we definitely need 7 seasons. Miranda, not to make you or anybody else cry, but thank you all for making this show. I think it is really important and exciting. So congratulations, and looking forward to season 2.
Thanks
so much, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.